Hi guys, LoreLord here. So a lot of you are probably here because of my most viewed video, which I made quite a few months ago, Why the Templars are right and the Assassins are wrong, Assassin's Creed lore. And a quick note on that video, thank you so much for 1,000 views on that video. That is insane. But in that video, I mentioned that not only do I think the Templars are right, I also mentioned how I think the Templars would most likely be the side that would win, and this video is elaborating on that. So this is how I think the Templars would win. Note how I said would win. I don't think they will win if the saga ever ends, because the Assassins have this little thing called plot armor. So if Ubisoft does decide to end the saga one day, then I'm pretty sure they'd most likely do it with an assassin victory. Oh, and also, I have a question about something that I'm a bit confused about. Maybe you guys can help me. In Assassin's Creed 3, major spoiler alert by the way, in the end, Desmond sacrifices himself so that Juno can go take control of the world. However, looking into the canonical timeline of Assassin's Creed, it doesn't seem like Juno ever does that, because it seems that everyone just goes on business as usual. Is there something I'm not understanding about what Juno did? So if you guys have an answer on what exactly Juno did after Desmond died, I would really like to know. So anyway, this is why I think the Templars would win. We'll start off with the most obvious point, that being the Templars' influence throughout history. Throughout the entire war between the Assassins and the Templars, which has been going on for tens of thousands of years, the Templars were almost always the ones pulling the strings. The cult of Cosmos, the predecessors of their predecessors, had influence in both Sparta and Athens during the Peloponnesian War, and then the Order of the Ancients that descended from them, they had power over the nobles and even the pharaoh of ancient Egypt. And then finally the Templar Order itself, they had power over the Senate of the Roman Empire, the Crusaders during the Crusades, the Catholic Church and the Papal States. In fact, Pope Alexander VI, and possibly a few more popes, have been Templars themselves, or at least have been affiliated with them. And during the Middle Ages, as well as a bit into the Renaissance period, the Church had power over the monarchies of all the European kingdoms. So if the Pope and a monarch of a particular European country had a disagreement, it would usually end up being the Pope that got his way. And they had power over the Byzantine Empire, and then after the Papal States and the Byzantine Empire, they had power in both the Spanish and the British empires, probably mostly in the British Empire, because as we know, a lot of Templars in the 18th century were high-ranking British military commanders. And then during the Industrial Revolution, the Templars, with a bit of help from gangsters I'll admit, had control over tons, maybe almost all, of the factories of London. And considering how Great Britain was pretty much leading Europe in its Industrial Revolution, that was a big deal. Rewind back to the 18th century a bit, to the French Revolution, they had influence in both the French government and a lot of French rebel groups. Because another thing about the Templars, which I think also gives them an advantage, is that they tend to play it from both sides. When there is a war going on, or any conflict, they try to get influence in both sides. And I think that gives them another advantage, because no matter what side wins the actual conflict, the Templars will still always reign supreme over the Assassins. This strong influence over world politics still remains in the 20th and 21st centuries. In World War II, Hitler, Stalin, and Roosevelt were all high-ranking Templars, and Germany losing the war and the Cold War starting were all a part of the Templars' plans. Before World War II, the Templars created Abstergo Industries, and when the war started, Abstergo Industries made technologies that helped the United States win the war. And deals with Abstergo Industries and the United States would only increase during the Cold War. And by the 21st century, Abstergo Industries is an extremely powerful corporation, the Templars, via Abstergo Industries, are extremely rich and extremely powerful. And now we go on to our second reason, which is somewhat because of the first reason, and that is that the Templars have very little direct conflict with the Assassins. All those guards and thugs that you stealth kill and fight with, almost none of them are actual Templar agents. They are instead a part of a different group of people that are doing the bidding of the Templars knowingly or unknowingly. Very rarely are those regular goons actual Templar agents. And the same can be said about most important characters that you assassinate. Although the main antagonist of every Assassin's Creed game is usually a Templar, most of the other antagonists that you assassinate aren't. They are also just leaders or working for other factions that are, again, either knowingly or unknowingly doing the bidding of Templars. And that's it for the second reason. And now it is time for the third reason, which will be the last reason, and that is that the Templars are a lot more unified than the Assassins. The goal of the Templars, whether you agree with it or not, is a lot more clearer than that of the Assassins, and most of the different rights of the Templar Order can agree on how to accomplish this goal, unlike the Assassins. And yes, the Grand Master of every Templar Rite has his or her own agenda, just like the mentor of every Assassin Brotherhood does. However, unlike the Assassins, the personal agenda of a Grand Master in the Templar Order is usually somehow assisting the main Templar goal, and if it isn't at least getting in the way of it. The only exception I can think for this is Cesare Borgia, who wanted to use the Order's power to gain more power for himself, and even that can be argued as to whether or not it was a selfish agenda. The Assassins, however, every time a mentor tries to get his own personal agenda satisfied, it almost always drives the Brotherhood's direction away from the main assassin goal, and that is why I think the Templars are a lot more unified than the Assassins. And those are the reasons why I think the Templars would be a lot more likely to win the war than the Assassins. However, considering how the Assassins are technically considered the good guys, if Ubisoft did decide to end the saga with one of the sides winning, it would probably be the Assassins. So that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.